Hi guys, how are you today? Today I'm going to show you how to strip apart your Dyson V7. This will apply for your V8 as well. So this one is the Dyson Motorhead Plus, which is the nice blue version. So I'm going to show you how to strip it all the way down, and if it sounds as if it's pulsing or like that, it indicates that it might just need a good filter clean, or in this state, I'm just going to show you how to strip it all the way down to give it a really good wash. The first thing you do, get your filter. You will need a flathead, a small flathead, a big flathead, and you will need a TA Star Torque screwdriver. First thing you want to do is you'll have 3 little clips around the actual top of the filter. You just want to get your little small flathead screwdriver under there and pry it up, and you will be surprised by the amount of dust that gets accumulated up there. And then basically you can just see in there the filter's very dirty, so that will have a good wash, and that's all the stuff that's came out of it. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll chuck that through like the washing machine, or we'll wash that by hand. But we'll get onto the actual machine first. Obviously, how you empty it, you pull it up, you get loads of dust, and you want to press these 2 little red buttons you'll see here. There's one on here and one on the other side. You just want to hold one down, you can slide that out. So that's your cyclone. And then you will have a little clip just here, quite a long one. You press that in, pull down, which then gives you the bin. What you want to do is, if you've got a paintbrush, literally all you want to do is just give that a good paintbrush down, just to get the normal dust off. Or if you've got a Henry or something with a dusting brush, just, yeah, and then give it a wipe over. So that's what you got to do with that. Next you got your bin. Just give that a good wipe out with a wet wipe, and then that will come off clean. What you now want to do is you want to get your actual main cyclone and get the T15 screwdriver, which is not that one. It is another one that is just sitting around, which is just there. So you want to get your T15 screwdriver and take these 4 screws out of the back. You've got 2 on each side. You just want to undo that, and make sure you got a little pot or a little magnetic board to chuck it on, so that they're not going missing. So take your 4 screws off at the back of your Dyson V7 or V8, so that you do not snap this while you are taking it apart. And put that in your box or bag or wherever you'd like to put it in to keep it safe. Next, you want to pop this off. This can be quite a fiddly job. There you've got one big one at the back, and you've got a couple just lying around here. You want to start off with the back, get your little screwdriver under there, and just literally pull it up and pull forward. Pull up and pull forward, which gets that back one off. You just want to keep doing it around the actual machine and find the clips so that you can get the shroud off and get access to everything else. And then once you hear that satisfying click, you can wiggle it and get it out. This is very dusty. What you can also do, get your hand in there, pull up on the little ring, and you'll have the little ring out, and that can go in here. What you can see is the amount of dust that accumulates in your Dyson. That's what keeps all the dust and all the parts that have just passed through your shroud, the really microscopic dust, out of your hoover. And what you want to do is you want to take these 5 screws off, which you can find. See, you got one there, one at the front, and 2 on the other side. You just want to unscrew them. So you can get into your second part of your cyclone. Maybe a bit dusty and a bit hard to get the screwdriver in due to the amount of dust that is on the thread of your screw. And you get that screw out. That one wasn't undone as far as it should be. Get that screw out, and then under here you just pull that up, give it a little tap, your little screwdriver, and just get behind a little piece of rubber, get a thumb on that, then get the screwdriver that goes around, and you've got your little seal off, just like that. Next you have your next bit. This holds a lot of dust. What you want to do is get your little screwdriver and just pry up on one side. That bit that pops up, give it a little tap, get your hand on it, pull it backwards, and that's what holds a lot of your dust. It's got all your little rubber seals which you want to keep clean. So if you're doing this for your own machine, try and do this about 2 or 3 times a year, just to keep on top of it and keep it working. You take 2 screws out from the back of your machine, which you can find just where your seal is. You've got one there and one there. And take those 2 off. And then you'll have another 4 inside the actual machine. You've got one there, one in that bit, one in there. It's every 2 cyclones you'll have another screw on this part. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And that's 4. What you want to do is it will just drop out. As you can see, that is all supposed to be black. If I can show you just there, it's supposed to be that kind of shiny black. Where this has been used for DIY, it's not really done it quite well, and that's where your little foam gaskets and all the Dyson science works. When you tap it upside down, you'll have your 4 screws that come out. Put those in your pot or your magnetic tray or whatever container you're using. You literally just pull up and you will see that bit there. You can just literally wiggle that and get that out. Give it a tap. And as you can see in there, it's all your cyclones, and it's your second cyclone bit. You got your foam gaskets. Be careful to not rip them. If you do, I would recommend buying new ones, or if they don't seem in good condition, go get some new ones. They're cheap as chips off eBay. You got your red one, and inside you have your black one. And then give that a little tap off and chuck that in your little bag or box. In here, you've now got your actual cyclone bit. What you want to do is just pull that upwards, then literally take that out. There's no seals you can take on this one, so you leave that as it is. And then you've got a seal that goes around the actual main machine on the top. Get your little flathead, try and find it, get a little tip of it. And you got your little seal that goes around your top bit, which keeps suctioning. Very dusty. Want to keep that clean. Just even if you're going to keep it maintained, just get a wet wipe on it every time you clean it. Give that a tap out. As you can see in there, it's very filthy. Cyclones are filthy, so that needs a good clean. Next is going to go onto the head. You just want to take your pole off. I do not recommend washing this pole. Not like the motor, you do not wash this or the motor. Just get that a good wipe down with antibacterial spray. So what you want to do with the brush roll head is you want to get your flathead screwdriver, your thicker one, onto this bit here, so you just literally want to undo it here, and then once it's anti-clockwise you pull it up, which then gives you access to this. You will get some dirt which does get stuck, just give that a little wipe off and put that into your cleaning box or container, and there's still more dust where it used to be. Next you want to get your brush roll out. So you've got a little thing here, you can use your big flathead screwdriver or a coin, get it in there, give it a twist and it should pop out. Pull that out, take your threads or whatever hair you got on it and just cut all that off with a knife, scissors, or even just your screwdriver. And then you can get this side cap off, give it a wiggle and pull. In there you've got a bearing which make sure is very clean, and then give it an oil. You can wash that all, so put that in your cleaning box or bag. There you got your little side cap. You do get accumulation of hair on the side, so I would recommend taking it off. If you're seeing a brush roll sliding down, it might be because of your hair getting stuck behind there. Next, your head. So what you want to do is you want to take these 4 screws off at the back. So you've got 2 there, and then you've got 1 in this hole and 1 in this other hole. You want to take them off. Make sure you keep your screws separate because the sizes of screws are different to your cyclone. Also use this hole and 1 in this other hole. Take them off. Make sure you keep your screws separate because the sizes of screws are different to your cyclone. Also, you have got a screw which is dead in the middle, so you got that screw and that literally just lines you up with it. As long as you haven't got much gunk on it, you just unscrew that. Tap your screws out if they're not coming out. Put that in your little container or magnetic tray. Put that in there. And then if you see some dirt in there, just get your fingers or get your screwdriver. Pull that around. Just so that the brush roll will move freely in use. And then now what you want to do is you want to get your flathead screwdriver, and at the back you just want to push in, pry up, which then pops off the first bit of your head. And then next, to get your wiring off, you want to take these wires, pull up carefully so you don't rip them because they are quite weak. And then you'll have 3 at the front, 1 there, 1 there and 1 there. You want to pop that off, unscrew them, they might be a bit stiff if you've never opened it before due to the manufacturing of it being closed very. And then next, make sure you haven't got your wires in the way, and you can literally just pull up on the plastic. When it comes to this bit, be careful, just get your flathead screwdriver and just push forward the motor and just you'll have a little click. That then gives you access to the actual base plate. You can wash that. What you now want to do with this, be careful and literally just a little wobble and pull to the side and you'll be able to get your plastic off. You have got a little seal in there. If that does pop out, you can clean it, but if it doesn't, just leave it as it is. And then you've got your motor and your yoke assembly. You do not want to wash that. Get a dustpan, brush, or get a brush and just literally brush all that off, and a wipe over with a very damp cloth so you do not damage any of the components. So this is how you strip your Dyson, and part 2 will be in a minute. Now it's time to put your Dyson back together, so let's get on with it. So once you've cleaned your base and you've got a nice clean bin, unside that, slide it nicely, making sure the 2 little red connectors connect in to the collection piece and it clips in just like that. If you have got a cloth, if you just want to, just give it a little dust off just before it goes in. Make sure you've got no water in the actual bin contacts, and just put that to one side for a minute. Right, now you want to get into your actual cyclone. So you want to get your main bits that you need, which I will just show you in 1 minute. The filter is still currently drying for my machine, so I will show you how to put another filter that I've got and how you would fit it. So these are the bits you would need. And now we will show you how to put it together. So what you want to do is you want to get these and your black seal and put that in the middle, making sure that it's all pushed down properly. Next you want to get your red seal and you want to push that all down properly, making sure it's the right way up. Turn that radiator down so that it then looks like that. Next you want to get your top piece, which you then want to put your seal in there, making sure that the 2 little clips at the end, very small minuscule clips, all clip into like that. Next you want to get your little 5 cyclone piece of plastic, and you want to also get this bit. You want to slide that into there, making sure the rubber just slides into the pieces of plastic. Next you want to get your 5 piece, and that will just literally slide on top. You then want to get the top piece and the bit you've just done and just wobble it into place until it just goes like that. Next you want to get your screwdriver, and you want to make sure you get the correct screws for the part, which are these ones. And you want to put your screws back in to hold your cyclone together. Don't use a drill to take it apart or to put it together, because if you have it too high, it may cause cracking and break the thread on the other side, which the screw holds on. And get the 4th screw, which goes in this side. And next you want to get your 2 little screws, which will slide in at the back, which you will have to screw in. Don't put long ones in. You've got these little ones which literally just hold the back of it together for more support. Next, you want to get your rubber seal, which you then put the long bit at the back and literally just pop it over like a rubber band. And then you should have your seal going around like that. Next, you want to get your little gasket, and you just want to make sure the little lip at the back just slides in there and you push down just like that. Next, you want to get your little rubber seal and the little volcano looking piece of plastic and just put the seal back on. Next, you want to make sure it's lined up with the bit which sticks out more at the back, and you want to get your 5 screws on there. Making sure you use the right correct size of screw, and do not use the 4 bigger ones, as they are for your sliding mechanism for at the back of your machine. Don't screw too tight, just do it until you feel a little bit of resistance. The last screw goes here. Next, you want to get your little shroud and your little, what shall we call this, your little circle bit, and literally put the bit that's more hollow on top and just push it in until you feel a little resistance. Next, you want to get your cyclone and you want to get the back bit, which just goes completely at the back, and you press until you hear a click, making sure it's all pushed in properly. This bit can be a bit fiddly. If this is the first time you've ever done it. Make sure it is on properly so that you don't have all the dust going through. Next, you get your little sliding up mechanism, which you literally put at the back, making sure it's lined up with your screw holes. Next, you want to get your screwdriver and get the 4 screws that you have left for your cyclone part, which the screwdriver is there, and you just want to put your 4 screws back into the holes. Making sure you're not overly tightening them, and they're literally put in at the correct height. Now, you want to get your main cordless bit and your bin. I did, and if your bin has closed, just get a little screwdriver and pop it open. And what you want to now do is get your top piece, line it up on the inside, put that back in, making sure it all still works. And that's your main Dyson. If your filter has dried by the time you're watching this, you clip your filter in with the 3 clips, making sure the clips clip in properly, and you put that back into your machine, and then you'll have a working machine. Now obviously what we now need to do is do the floor head. If you have, and you're in the process of doing it, just get your wipe or a cloth and just give it a little dust or a little wipe, making sure it's all nice and clean, ready for your machine, making sure there's no blockages looking through. Don't know if you can see, yeah, as you can see there's no blockages in that. Just make sure you haven't got no blockages in your pipe which may be causing bad suction. Now you want to get your main floor head, making sure it's all nice and clean. Get your motor, making sure you haven't put that in water. Get your brush roll. Get your base plate. Get your screw in. Get your top cover. And get your bottom brushes, making sure they are all dry. First thing you would like to do is you would like to get the plastic back onto here. So you want to try and get the lip in there and push, which then allows you to have the plastic back onto your machine. Now we're going to go on to the actual main base. You want to get your base, put your motor in first, having the wires pointing out to the back and making sure the 2 plastics align into the gaps at the back of the head. Next you want to lever that motor base up a little bit and get the head in, which then holds the motor base in place. Next you want to get your wiring and wire your machine to the correct way to ensure no rips or breakages will happen. Making sure you have a little screwdriver just to push down nicely and gently to push them in place, as they can be very fiddly due to their size. Don't push too hard, because if you do damage a wire, you will have to buy a new yoke. Next, you want to get your main top piece, which you just put on the top, and it should just slide in. Next, you want to get 5 screws to now screw in the top of your head, so that it's got a cover for the wires. 2 up near the top, 2 by each, 1 by each side, and 1 in the middle. And get the other 4 screws in the gap. Put your screws in, holding the head in place, and if needed, push up the cover. The small screw will probably be the hardest screw. You've got to go through a little gap to put it into place. Next, you want to get your other 3 screws. Get your other 3 screws and put them at the front of your head. if there is any damage to your head and it may affect your machine, you can find them direct by Dyson, or you can get cheap ones off eBay and Amazon or your local marketplace. Last screw. Next, you now want to get your brush roll and your screw, and you want to push that onto there until it's smooth, until it goes in as far as it can. What you want to do, if you feel a little bit of dampness, just get a dry cloth and just dry it. Then just slide it in, making sure you got your screwdriver, and just twist. Next, you want to get your bottom bit with your brushes and just slide that in with that bit pointing into the little gap. Making sure it slides in, and just screw it up. And that is how you clean your Dyson head. If you found this helpful, please like, comment and subscribe, and stay tuned.